Something I appreciate about Fire Emblem Heroes is that it doesn't just give love to the main games. Every now and then, it likes to make its own unique characters with different designs, lore, backstories, and so on and so on. Which is why in this video, I'm making a tier list on every single original character in Heroes, at least at the time of this video. Which means I'm going from Book 1 all the way to the first half of Book 7. And I want you guys to understand, I have to talk about more than 45 characters from more than 10 different nations. So for my own sanity, I'll try to be as brief and fast as I can be. Is that okay? Good! Just remember, this tier list is entirely subjective and is entirely based on my own tastes and experiences. Without further ado, let's start this list by talking about the most important character. You!
Kira! Okay, if you watch my video where I rank all Fire Emblem protagonists, then these next few statements might sound a bit familiar. Kiran is you, it's supposed to represent the player. I appreciate the effort they've done to make them a little bit more customizable and relatable, but they're still just a blank state, so sit here. Alphonse, also known as Poncho in some Latin American communities. Alphonse started out as someone who I dislike at first, but steadily climbed his way to become awesome! Even if sometimes his salts are done dirty by intelligent systems, Alphonse has achieved great stuff in the main stories or in forging bonds, like telling Death herself he was gonna kill her while also telling Leticia to fuck off. Alphonse is great, and I put him in S tier. The fact that he was able to go from someone I hated to a protagonist I really like speaks lengths of how far he has come these past few years. And that's pretty awesome. Sharina. Unlike Alphonse, Sharina hasn't really developed much, or at all. The Sharina we know today is the same Sharina from Book 1, and just when they teased huge things were coming for her, it all amounted to nothing. It's not all gloom though, on the contrary, after so many years of seeing her, I think Sharina's enthusiasm and optimism has rubbed onto some of us, so it is kinda hard to feel any sort of negativity against her. She's not amazing, but I don't think she's terrible at all, so I'll leave her on B tier. Anna, or in this case, Commander Anna. I feel for her the same way I feel for all other Annas. I like her, nothing more than that. She's an iconic and fun character, and her multiple schemes to make money are always entertaining to watch. I will say though, given how she is the face of the series, it's so weird she only has like 4 alts in total, and only one of them was kinda good. I don't know, I just found it curious. B tier. Gustav. For the longest time, I used to pray for his downfall just so his wife will be single. Then he died and I kinda felt bad because Gustav is honestly pretty cool. Yeah, he might be the typical king, super devoted to his country. But I don't know, I really like how he seemed cold and rough on the exterior, but was still a fair king and deep down genuinely cared for his family to the point where he sacrifices his own life to save Alphonse. And then he got an insanely powerful Valentine salt that helped me for many years. So that made me appreciate Gustav on an extra level, which is why I put him on A tier. Henriette. God, I love her so much. I wish she could appear more often or at least get more alts. What I love about Henriette is her upbeat, warm and whimsical personality. She's just as likable as Sharina, but also has the benefit of being a supportive mother to her children. And you know, it's clear that she deeply loved Gustav, and that's something I respect. I don't tend to remember Forging Bonds events that much, but the one where she speaks to fallen Gustav really stuck with me. It was so memorable. Henriette also had an amazing ult that wasn't just extremely powerful despite having no unique weapon. She also got, in my opinion, one of the prettiest arts in the entire game. Now, totally independent to my preference on mature women, I put Henriette on A tier. Ashe. I'll be honest with you, she was not a good protagonist. She wasn't even a good co-protagonist. She was just there in the story, and I found her to be quite annoying at times with her manner of speech, where instead of saying, "Yes, I agree," she will go, "Of course, I believe it will be most adequate if we follow your taken decision. Your unparalleled skill is sure to lead us down the road to victory." However, Ashe is safe for 3 reasons. 1. I think her design is very unique and cute. 2. Her performance as a unit was stellar and her support was amazing. And 3. A cow that shoots lasers is so raw. Therefore I put Ash on B tier. Askr. Oh, this guy is great! It is so cool to see a god in fantasy media that genuinely believes in the indomitable human spirit. Askr is a kind god that loves and deeply admires humans due to their ability to keep going, even at the worst of times. But even then, Askr has no qualms with getting involved with human affairs in order to help them. And even though Embla is her polar opposite, I really like their dynamic and how he never stops giving up on her, even if she was kind of a lost cause, if you catch my drift. Askr also has a great design both as a god and as a giant bull goat, whatever this is. And as a unit, he was very powerful. I think my only issue with him is that he has so little screen time and dies a bit too fast in the story. But still, in just 1 year, Askr was so cool, so memorable, and was so damn strong that at least for me, it gives him enough merit to land on S tier. Faye and Phoenix. I like them as mascot characters. I think they're cute, but given how evil gacha games truly are deep down, I can't help but feel the same about these owls. Also, take a shot whenever you have a mascot character voiced by Cassandra Lee Morris.
Oh my god, he died of alcohol poisoning!
But again, I think they're cute, inoffensive for the most part, and kind of funny from time to time. So B tier sounds fair. Bruno. I'm so confused on how I feel about this character. He's been here for so long, yet I don't have any strong feelings towards him. I think I'm disappointed more than anything. His main objective was clear in the earlier books, but between books 2 and 5, he was either completely absent or would show up as a convenient plot device. Then in book 6, he achieved his goal. He sacrificed his life in order to free Veronica from her curse. And yeah, that's it. He just died. I think they built up Bruno for so long and the end result was just, hooray, GP, he did it! And after all these years, I genuinely don't care for Bruno in the slightest. And I think the developers felt the same too. It's like they were too busy telling all these other stories until one of them said, "Oh yeah, we forgot to give closure to Bruno, let's kill him!" And he went out just like that. So Bruno lands on C tier. Veronica. Same case as Alphonse, Veronica was someone I used to despise when the game first released, and for good reason. Her childish and bratty personality made her an easy target for me to hate. Luckily, again, just like Poncho, Veronica has gotten some nice development through all the books, and nowadays she has shown a more friendly and compassionate side. She has matured a lot, and that honestly has made me appreciate her a whole lot more. I don't think she's as cool as Alphonse though, cause Alphonse is always involved head-on in the action, while Veronica is most of the time reacting to what is going on, or will just randomly show up from time to time. Still, after 6 years, I can say Veronica is a character I really enjoy, and her inclusion in Engage as a DLC emblem was well deserved. So A tier! Leticia. And the award for the most predictable twist villain in the game goes to... yeah, her. I mean, when she showed up, it was clear she was gonna betray Veronica, and that's exactly what she did not too long after. And honestly, after that, I can't remember a single thing she did, other than getting possessed and dying. Her only memorable moments only made Alphonse and Veronica better characters, the former because he told her he was gonna kill her, and the latter because she was able to win back the hearts of the people despite Leticia's lies. Leticia is a character that just existed for me, and the best thing I can say about her is that I love her special art because she looks like she's gonna do a slam dunk. Even so, I'll put her on D tier because I genuinely forgot she existed. Elm. I'm just gonna repeat myself. I completely forgot this character was a thing. I even forgot he got a New Year alt. I do not like his design at all, and whatever small memory may remain of him, I can only recall that he was an unlikable asshole. D tier. Embla. I know I said this previously, but I really like how much of a polar opposite Embla is to Askr. She's cold and ruthless, but deep down, she has a deep fear of loneliness and betrayal. Her design is so creepy and unique, she basically looks like a walking corpse. And in the story, she felt like a genuine threat, and that in my eyes made her a great antagonist. And let's not forget how amazing she was combat-wise, as she will completely shut off the meta-defining savior skills. Embla was simply great in all aspects, and for that, I put her on A tier. Fjorm. Despite being the most biased OC by the developers, besides Veronica, it honestly doesn't bother me that much because I really like Fjorm. She has a unique and lovable design, and while her personality is a little bit generic, you know, she's the typical kind and caring princess, she's still pretty cool, pun not intended, and I enjoy the times she appears during Forging Bonds, which is almost every single time. And I know I've mentioned this in a previous video, but Fjorm has also had some very strong, or at times, meta-defining units, so that in turn has made her leave a strong impact and continues to be relevant even to this day. That is enough to shoot her all the way to S tier. Guntra. Once again, I really like her design. It's so pretty and gentle, a great reflection of Guntra's personality. I'm only upset that she died so fast in the story and her death was too cruel for her. She didn't deserve any of that. Since then, I can't recall if Guntra has appeared in Forging Bonds or something like that. Heralds have been alright, I suppose, but at least I can say I still have fun with her base form, especially after she got a much needed refine. Guntra is a character I like, and the only thing holding her back is her lack of screen time. And I don't think death can be an excuse for that, given how Leon keeps getting attention every now and then. So Guntra goes to B tier. Crit. Normally, I will say I do not give a damn about Crit because he didn't do anything in the story and hasn't done anything else ever since. He just exists. Unfortunately, I hate this character. Why? Because his New Year alt will constantly show up to me on these banners of wow, get a random seasonal alt. New Year Crit will always appear in front of me. I probably summoned him like 4 times and I just straight up kill him because I didn't want to see his face. I think you know where this is going. Character that was already meh for me started to annoy me. That can only mean D tier. Yogurt. Another forgotten Nifl sibling. Once again, I completely erased her existence until I started working on this video. Her only contribution in the story was being a plot device for Loki, and that's it! I won't waste too much time here. Ilger is a D tier. Nifl. I'm fine with her. Her cold and harsh personality makes a lot of sense, and I might be one of the few people who likes her design a little bit. Unfortunately for her, I have never summoned her or her summer alt, so my feelings for Nifl are perfectly neutral. Nifl falls on C tier. Surtur. He isn't really a deep or complex villain, he's just an asshole who wants to see the world burn. Literally. Regardless, I'll forever remember Surtur for the impact he had at the time of Book 2. In the story, how he was literally impossible to defeat, and every time he will show up in a map, he will make players panic. When he became playable, he was an absolute terror on the battlefield, as he could single-handedly wipe out an entire party, and only a few specific heroes could reliably get rid of him. Surtur may be a generic villain without anything special about him, but his presence in the earlier days of Heroes is something I'll never forget. B tier. Leon. Wonderful design? Check. Lovable, kind, and respectful personality? Check. Actually contributed to her story? Check. Continues to get the spotlight even nowadays and I'm totally fine with that? Check. Be a Camus character that actually died for something worth dying for? Double check. Leon is amazing in all regards. It is no stretch when I say she was my favorite part about all of Book 2, and I'm so happy that even nowadays she continues to be relevant and has gotten so much attention throughout the years. She completely deserves that. For all the reasons I just mentioned, she's an S tier for me. Libatane. And now we take a complete 180. Libatane is the polar opposite of Leon. Her personality is having no personality. Yeah, sure, that part of her is explained and it is a bit tragic. But I just can't bring myself to care about her. I like her design, but that's it. For me, her only standout achievement was being the only character drawn by Masatsugu Saito, the Xenoblade Chronicles artist. Just like Libaten herself, I feel no emotion when I see this character, so C tier sounds like a natural place for her to be. Kelvindi. Oh, I love this guy! I have a weakness for the gentle giant who pretends he doesn't care about others, but deep down, he's a very caring person. Is it simple? Yeah. Is it effective? Definitely! And that's all Kelvindi needs for me to put him on B tier. Muspel. I hate Muspel, I despise Muspel, I wish the absolute worst on Muspel! I cannot even stand the sight of him. This is a character that has the number one thing I hate the most. He tries way too hard. Muspel is like an edgelord who wants to sound cruel, ruthless, and savage, but instead just ends up sounding like a whiny kid. He literally has zero charm. I hate his design, I detest his personality, and his voice is even worse, and I still don't get it. This is the same guy who sings Rules of Nature from Metal Gear Rising. Why did they make him sound this bad?
Squeal, squeal, squeal!
My hatred for Muspel is so strong that I can confidently say he's one of the worst characters in the entire series. Yes, right up there with the likes of Corrin. Therefore, he gets his own special tier. The Muspel tier. I really hate this character. Thor. When you think about it, Thor hasn't done much in Heroes despite being introduced years ago. I do like how she bounces back and forth with Loki though, those dialogues are always entertaining. And Thor still stands out because her units have been so good, especially the Summer Alt. Excellent art, and even better unit. She wasn't just super strong, she became an answer against the extra movement meta that dominated the game around that time, basically ending legendary Sigurd's reign. Even though she hasn't really done anything worth mentioning story-wise, I like Thor enough to put her on B tier. Loki, the antagonist that always has to show up in every book no matter what. Playful, mischievous, and sadistic, Loki enjoys toying with her opponents and allies alike, only picking whatever side she thinks will make things more unpredictable and entertaining. I think she's fine, despite being here for so many years, I don't think she has done anything to make me say, wow. But you know, she's still entertaining to watch every now and then, so she makes company to her sister in B tier. Air. I remember that when she was announced years ago, my first thought was, who put Ariana Grande in this game? And you can blame me for thinking that, because Ariana Grande was put in a Final Fantasy gacha game. Still, Air has always been a strong unit with great support. I don't think too highly about her design and personality, even if the latter makes a lot of sense given what she's been through. But I do like how far she has come since book 3, and that's very nice. B tier. Nifl and Thracer. I'm killing two birds with one stone here. Oh wait, never mind, they're already dead. My point is, I like these two characters equally for the same reasons. I think they were good antagonists through book 3, and honestly, I find the concept of fallen main characters so fascinating. What if Alphonse and Veronica had failed to stop Hell and lost everything they ever cared about? Well, here's your answer! And Leaf and Thracer were as entertaining as they were memorable. Shoutouts in particular to Thracer for showing up so many times during my summoning sessions that I'm so close to plus 10 her. Therefore I put these two on A tier. Hell! Oh, she was so good! Her design is so damn cool! The amount of detail in her art is stellar, and she made for a great antagonist! Constantly showing up throughout the story, and just like Surtur, she had a menacing presence whenever she will appear. Not to mention, she's the reason Alphonse got one of the coolest moments in the entire game! Hell was simply a great antagonist. Book 3 still remains my favorite story-wise, and Hell is one of the main reasons for that. So A tier! Ganglot. More like Dollar Store Hell. All I can remember about her is that she wasn't nowhere as cool as Hell, and people only summon her because they can give her axe to characters they actually like. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even remember she exists. Even so, I put her on D tier. Ymir. Oh, she's so damn adorable! See, That's all the reason I need to really like this character. She has such a pretty design and she's such a gentle character. But it also helps that, as a unit, she's very damn good. Especially her summer alt, which, first of all, oh my god, this is one of the most adorable summer alts I've seen in the game. Second, she's ridiculously strong. At least at the time of this video, I've been using her non-stop whenever I have the chance because she is that fun and good to use. Despite her short time since her debut, Ymir has left such an impression on me that she goes to A tier. Peony. I'll just state the obvious right now. Her unique dancer support has always been inviolable throughout the years. Even after a few years, Peony has managed to stay in relevancy one way or another, which is pretty impressive. As for everything else, yeah, you know, Peony's fine, carrying personality and pretty design. Although, I'll never get over the fact that her hair looks like a croissant, or two shrimps stuck together. B tier, nothing else to say. Mirabilis? Sorry, I meant to say Mirabigov! I can't explain why I like these characters so much, but my friend Mike and I have always been massive fans of her. How she's constantly falling asleep, often preferring having nothing to do with whatever crisis is going on, but still being able to help when needed. Her design is so adorable and her character arts have always been top tier, especially the Christmas one. This is so crazy good and you can't tell me otherwise. Really, I can't explain much more than that. I guess Mirabilis is one of those characters that just click with me, you know? Sometimes that just happens. Call me crazy, you have all the right to do that. But she's an S tier. Freyr! Wait, who was this guy again? Book 4? Huh. What the hell? So, yeah, I completely forgot this guy existed, and for the longest time Intelligent Systems did too. All he had for many years was an obscure summer alt. His base form finally became playable after so long. And even then, that didn't get a single emotion out of me. Cause I forgot about him. D tier. Triandra. Quite frankly, I also don't remember much about Triandra, like, she was Peony's sister and they had a tragic backstory, I think. But other than that, I don't recall anything else about her. I never saw her base form. Her New Year alt with Peony is admittedly very cute. But her bunny art is so bad! It's one of those arts that is trying way too hard to be sexy. And it fails at that. And that's pretty much all I have to say about Triandra. C tier. Plumeria. She's kinda similar to Triandra in which I can't recall a single thing she did in the story. But unlike the latter, Plumeria at least had a stronger impact. For once, I actually like her design. I find it very appealing. And apparently many Fire Emblem fans thought the same, cause in Choose Your Lanes 4, Plumeria made it to the top 10 despite being recently added to the game. But that was very funny. Unfortunately, that's where it stops. I have actually never summoned a single Plumeria. I think the New Year one has very pretty art, but yeah, that's it. Still, because I like her design more, and she has had more presence in the game, I leave Plumeria on B tier. Freya. Damn, I don't wanna sound like a broken record, but I also don't remember much about her other than she was obsessed with her brother, maybe a bit too much, but like, yeah. In the story, I can only recall her being near unkillable, so most of book 4 revolved around escaping from her. Other than that, I mean, I like her design, her summer alt triggers my caveman brain, and for some reason, I don't understand how she managed to get an alt with Carla. At the end of the day, I'm totally neutral on Freya, so to the C tier she goes. Regin. Unique design, likable personality, and hold on. Is she running a centaur mech? That is so cool! And that's the best way to describe Regin. She is very cool. She was constantly contributing to her own story in book 5, and as a unit, she completely turned the tables around. Not only because she was strong, but because she introduced Kanto, an effect that will change the mobile game forever. And that speaks lengths on how important Regin's inclusion was. There's nothing else I can add. Regin is just so cool, she was very memorable and she left a huge mark in the game's meta. Whether that's a good or a bad thing, I'll let you decide, but for me, she's an A tier. Otter. Let's be real on this. Who gives a damn about Otter? Nobody! Whoever says otherwise is lying! His banner was infamously known for being one of the worst selling banners in Book 5. I can't think of a single thing that made Otter stand out, or even a cutscene where he did something cool or menacing. He simply did not leave a single impact on this game at all, and for that I put him on D tier. Fafnir. He was a nice villain, he was menacing, constantly showed up through the story, and whenever he did, he will most likely give you a hard time. As the story progressed, more bits of his backstory will be revealed, which eventually turned him from a tyrant asshole to a tragic and interesting antagonist. I'm also a bit biased towards him because I accidentally summoned his New Year ult, and not gonna lie, he was really damn good, especially in either raids. So in general, I can say I like Fafnir, so he lands on B tier. Atri. Now this is a funny and good antagonist. Atri is cunning and manipulative, using whatever means she deems necessary to get what she wants. She doesn't have any appreciation for human life, often seeing others as playthings, and that's what makes her so entertaining. Atri is so unhinged once her true colors show up, and every scene with her becomes memorable. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest fan of her design, but her art is so good, especially the special portrait one. This is the kind of talent that sells you into how crazy a character is. Because of her presence and how memorable she was, Atri goes on A tier. Dagger. You know, some developers have to realize that when you make a tall Amazonian character that can potentially kill me in one punch, I'm gonna be like,
Sign me the fuck off!
thank you so much for this. I owe you my life and you're the best. But more than my strong bias for certain designs, Dagger is just so great on her own. I really like how she was like a cool, chaotic aunt for everyone else during Book 5. She had so much charisma and was very entertaining to have around. In combat, I don't think she was meta-defining by any means, but she has always been a consistently strong unit that I love putting on my party from time to time. In general, I just find Dagger to be one of the most memorable and likable characters in Heroes, and that's why I leave her on S tier. Not. Unlike her sister, Not, unfortunately, did not do much during Book 5 other than being manipulated by Otter and then dying. So sadly, she did not have much screen time to let her shine. However, there's two things that save her here. One, her design. I mean, is that surprising coming from me? 2, Not was so damn good and extremely fun as a unit. With a better kit than her sister, distant counter, and amazing support, Not was someone I consistently used for at least a whole year because she was that good of a unit. It's because of that she avoids the bottom of the barrel and lands on B tier. Seder. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you, I barely give a damn about anyone from Book 7. I know that is unfair to say because at the time of this video, the book hasn't even been finished, but I barely made any connections with any character here, so you know, I'll be as fast as I can now. Seder. I think her design is alright, I barely use her in combat if I am honest, and the only things I remember about her are the plot twists related to her and that one scene where she asks you to give her a baby. And if that's the most memorable thing she has done, then whack. C tier. Hey there! I don't like her design and I forgot her existence until her big plot twist happened. D tier. New Order. No comments at all. I just know he died in a very stupid and predictable way. D tier. Nerfus. Typical anime mommy character. I will admit I kinda like her design and at least she's doing stuff in the story, but other than that, no big comments here. C tier. Gulbake. Okay, she's probably the only Book 7 character I care about to some degree. I find her entire concept very interesting, like how she borrows inspiration from Yamata no Orochi, how she is like 3 different characters at the same time, and she's even tragic to some degree. I do find it extremely funny that she won't choose your legends just slightly after being introduced to the game, and even more funny is the fact that she beat Corrin at that. Like, this isn't even taking my Corrin hatred into account. Gulbake won over one of the most popular characters in the series, simply because she has fat titties. What else would have made her win? Really, there is no other explanation. It almost happened with Plumeria in the past, but Gulbeig was able to make that a reality. And even then, I wanna say her Brave Alt made me have a small appreciation for her. I still don't think she's anything spectacular or whatever, but now it's like, oh yeah, Gulbeig, she's cool and very strong. So she's the only Book 7 character I put on B tier, and with that, the Fire Emblem Heroes OC's tier list is complete.
So, what do you think? Is there a placement you disagree with? Which Heroes OC is your favorite? Or how will you make the tier list? Please let me know in the comments, and will you do that? Thank you so much for your time, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you can support the channel, you know, liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, or Patreon, wink, wink, that will mean so much to me. Have a wonderful day, and take care! I'll see you next time! After I take a rest, because goddamn, this video was so hard to make.